What is up, YouTube? My name is Eben, and today is Throwback Thursday, where we are going to take a look at an old card and throw it into our current standard format just to see what would happen. And today, for our inaugural run, we are going to take a look at Moltres from the Fossil Edition, so like the original very first Moltres ever printed. Now, for a lot of you, you may have to take a definite look and read this guy. He has no weakness, which is kind of nice. Makes Seismitoad not much of a threat there. He resists, which is actually a 30-point resist. That's nice. His retreat doesn't matter because we're not retreating this guy. He's got 70 HP, a dive bomb attack that is absolutely terribly costed by today's standards, but we do have his wildfire attack, which is why he's here. And basically, it's just one fire, but you discard as many fires as you can attach to him, and he mills that many cards right off the top of your opponent's deck. Just bombs that many cards, which obviously in some ways is really good, in some ways is really bad, but this deck is all about capitalizing on wildfire, because we are going to make Moltres shine these like nearly 20 years after it was printed, and it is going to be amazing. So we're running 4 Moltres. He's got one backup guy with us, and that is Houndoom EX, because this guy's got a lot more bulk in case we need it, and for just a single energy we're going to slap onto him, and that's it. We're just going to Melting Horn, mill some extra cards, kind of buy time, stall, burn things. That's the idea. We do also have one copy of Bunnelby here, our Omega Barrage Bunnelby, to stack cards back into our deck, of course, but also mill in a pinch. So pretty useful card there. And we're also going to run 2 copies of ShameNEX, because why wouldn't we run ShameNEX, really? Just the card draw is awesome. We can put all our Pokemon pretty much straight down on our bench. Relatively easy to lower our hand to take advantage of this guy. Moving on to our supporters section, we're running 3 Sycamore. This can easily put some energies into our discard and draws pretty heavily, but three's good for us. Three's good. And we're also going to run 2 N, because we're never going to take prizes in this deck. I mean, we're not meaning to attack. We have no intention of attacking. We're almost never going to deal any damage. We're milling people. So inevitably, our opponent's going to take way more prizes than us, and this can be a great way to exploit that, sending our opponent to 1 or even 2 cards in hand late in the game, while we're always pretty much going to be drawing straight up to 6. So that's pretty amazing. Yeah, it might put some cards back in our opponent's deck, but it can definitely take the wind out of their sails when we need to kind of get back in the game. We're also running 3 copies of Blacksmith. You could arguably run 4, but I think 3 is plenty considering we have access to Versus Seeker. This card's only good at a certain point in the game, so we're definitely going to run 3 of this, though, as it's basically 2 extra cards milled straight off our opponent's deck with Moltres. And we're going to be running 1 copy of Teammates, because Moltres is going to be an easy sack. I mean, we're definitely going to be losing Mons here and there, and this way we can get whatever we need to keep pain coming on our opponent, make sure that deck out happens. I mean, our opponents are going to be helping us deck them out with things like their own Sycamores and whatnot anyway, but Teammates is definitely going to help us maintain consistency. Now, as you might have guessed, to help keep our opponents slow enough that we can actually mill them out, we are going to be running some energy removal. Team Flare Grunt is a great versus seekerable way to keep our opponents in check and slow down their offense, keep Moltres alive, maybe an extra turn or so. We're also going to be running 1 copy of Zerasic. You could turn this into an extra copy of Enhanced Hammer, but once again, access to Versus Seeker, Versus Seeker giving us access to this is nice. Plus, since we do run the Headringer Flare Gear, this thing can potentially peel off tools that already exist on their EX so that you can place the Headringer down. So it's a nice utilitarian card. I like the access to it. And we also have AZ, as this can obviously deny knockouts for our opponents, and we suffer very little in terms of losses from picking our Pokemon up with AZ. Not really anything to lose. And we can, of course, exploit Shaman a little bit that way, too. Now, moving on to our non-supporter trainers, we have a bunch of them in this deck. We have 4 Versus Seeker for all the obvious reasons. We pretty much always run that. I mean, just get used to it. We run 4 Ultra Balls. It's a great way to send extra 1 of supporters and fire energies from our hand to the discard pile, while simultaneously maintaining our ever so precious Pokemon supply, getting access to things like Shaman early. We've also got 3 Battle Compressors to make sure we get those energies in so we can get our Blacksmiths off just as soon as possible, and of course it can ditch extra supporters as well. And our tool of choice is going to be Fighting Fury Belt, because everybody benefits from it, but especially Moltres does. 110 HP can definitely let us live some hits that we wouldn't be living at just 70. The extra damage doesn't matter at all, but obviously the bulk does, and Houndoom EX definitely likes being at 210 HP, obviously. Once again, it's just about kind of buying time for that deck out. We're running 2 copies of Enhanced Hammer, just 2, because not every deck is going to be hurt by this, so we don't want these jamming up in our hands kind of doing nothing. But for the matchups where it is relevant, it can be very, very powerful. So we are opting for these 2. we're also running 4 copies of Crushing Hammer because these work on everybody. And like I say, it's all about buying time, so we're running a full set of 4 Crushing Hammers. And we're also going to run some Headringers. Not every deck is hurt by this, obviously, and that's why we're only running 2. But those that are hurt by it definitely do not appreciate getting hit by it. And of course, you can also slap this onto things that want to Mega Evolve to further force our opponents into bad situations. They can be kind of stally and good for us. And our final item of choice is going to be Puzzle of Time. We're going to run 4 of it because pretty much you either run 4 or you're not going to run it. But this can get us access to things like extra copies of hammers and so on. It can be very, very powerful for us. And obviously with teammates, we can really put in some work with Puzzle of Time here. And yeah, pretty much makes a lot of sense here. And the energy is pretty straightforward as well. We're going to run 4 burning energy because Moltres is amazing with burning energy. I mean, think about it like this. You attach burning energy on one turn while it's on the bench. Whatever it is in your active slot, like let's say your Houndoom EX gets knocked out, you bring up your Moltres on the next turn, you attach a second burning energy, you Blacksmith, so now you get 4 energy. You can mill them for 4. They probably can't hit, but of course 2 of these will come back. Then on the next turn, because you might just be able to live that 1 hit, you probably will. Then you can Blacksmith, attach another energy, and mill for 5 cards that turn. So one Pokemon, basically, before it gets knocked out, could be milling like 9 cards, and that's not that unusual. It's not that hard to pull off. So burning energy definitely makes Moltres quite the threat, even a very long time after it was printed. And finally, we are running some basic energy, because obviously that's what we need for Blacksmith, and we can't run more than 4 burning energies. So we're running 8 basic fire energies here, and that completes the deck. It is a lot of fun. Obviously, you can't take it to your local regionals anytime soon, but what you can do is play it against your friends, and hopefully they'll still be your friends afterward. But it's a heck of a lot of fun if you enjoy a good throwback every now and then. But that's it for me. So until next Thursday, have yourselves a good week. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time.